Therapy is tiring.
Did you see any significance of what you were doing?
So Jazz's mother keeps trying to take Jazz to therapy. I mean, therapy's probably been Jazz's life because, you know, when you're handed a narrative before your first memory, it takes a lot to keep that up. It takes a lot, definitely, to keep up this facade, this fake story, everything. So we're going to go ahead and look into it because Jazz ends up exploding on her mother. And why not? I mean, because it does become a lot to constantly have to go to therapy, and it's not solving anything because therapy can't solve this problem, you know? So it makes absolute sense to me.
Doing with her? Did you learn anything?
I don't think I learned that much.
You know, I actually hate when people yawn and not cover their mouth. Like, I find it so offensive. I don't know why. I know it's a small thing. Sorry.
The fact that she wasn't opening up to Debbie was probably intentional and thought out ahead of time. And that really pisses me off.
Too bad. You know, you're right. You're right. It probably was thought out ahead of time. And, you know, that's, first of all, that's how kids are. I mean, kids really, sometimes they don't do what you want them to do. Then on top of that, well, these are the things you're going to have to deal with, Jeanette. I mean, these are the things I'm sure you've dealt with more as time went on. You're dealing with stuff now. You know, you signed up for this. This is a serious narrative that you've given your child. So a lot comes with that. Things that I can't even think of. Things that haven't even come to my mind because it doesn't make sense what you're doing here to me. So let's go ahead and get into more of this episode. And please, guys, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you.
How can I get you to go to therapy more often?
I don't think you can.
So basically, I am wasting my time trying to get you to go.
Yes, Mom. How many times do I have to tell you?
So my mom would have pulled the car over her life. And it just wouldn't have been a good look. But first of all, we could never have had reality television in my house. Okay, let's just be clear. So moms would have been like, okay, shut the camera off or something. I don't know. It's up to y'all, TLC. I gotta take care of this.
So annoying. My mom is trying to force me into more therapy, and it's really annoying. I already did it. I don't know why she won't.
I mean, because your mom is trying not to be the sole reason for your problems. Your mom is trying to make sure that, you know, that she's trying to clean her slate. Okay. So that's what she's trying to do.
Wants me to do more.
When you're at a loss and you're freaking out and you're at your lowest of the lows, I don't have the answers to what it is that you need to make you feel better, to pull you out of that dark spot.
Right. And the reason why Jeanette does not have those answers is because Jeanette, this is a new territory. I mean, you would think, I'm not saying parents have all the answers, but the amount of therapy that probably goes into doing something like this, quote, successfully, any kind of reality successfully, I don't think so, but whatever. I'm sure it's a daily, at least a weekly process, at least. And, you know, I'm not, all right, so when I say parents may not have all the answers, there are times where a parent might say, hey, do you want to talk to somebody who might be a little bit more in tune to certain behaviors that are defense mechanisms or anything like that. When my grandmother passed away, that was the first time I ever dealt with death. And my mom, she definitely was there for me. And my mom asked me something that I couldn't believe she asked me this question. She asked me, do I feel like I need to talk to someone? And it wasn't her asking me that like out of like, you're acting crazy, do you know? But she was trying to offer me everything she could as a mother, and making sure that I would, you know, heal from this process, that I would mourn in a healing way. There is such a thing. I even marvel at that even more because she knew to open up any avenue, any positive avenue that she could to make sure her daughter would be okay. And didn't say, let's just go to church, you know, I was realistic about it. And so I'm like, wow, my mom was awesome, right? So, but the jazz situation, it requires therapy like a chore. And that is why this is the response.
She keeps pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And it's really just messing with my mind. It's making me super upset and super negative.
Because I'm too attached to you and I'm so overwhelmed. When you're upset, sucks me into your black hole.
But you know, I'm able to do it myself. Like I'm
you can't always do it yourself.
Mom.
So do it. it is a strong word. It. What is it, right? So what is it? I'm able to do it myself. No, you can't always do it yourself. What is it? The black hole, apparently, that Jazz constantly gets sucked into, and that gives Jeanette so much anxiety that everything is always like, the depression, it's looming, which isn't healthy too, by the way, to do to a person, because then they always think about it too. It's just insane. So it is the thought of, what am I doing here? Is this really what I want? Am I a girl? Am I a boy? What's going on? It is questions of reality, right? And so when we start tapping into that, especially in this kind of a situation, a strong situation like this, where Jazz has to constantly stay on cue and on key, it can unravel this illusion of reality that this child was not only placed into, but then had to make up of their own. And so when you start accidentally unraveling that, and there's such a thing, because you start thinking, you start having these weird out of body experiences, it can be a pretty dark place. So Jeanette is like, yo, I need you to stay on this therapy schedule on point, and then I need you to go and I need you to talk, okay? Because I can't do it. Because then I have to, because if you unravel, then I have to unravel. And then I have to unravel and realize that what I did to you was wrong. And there's just too much reality that we will have to deal with here. And I can't help but tell you that I still think that Jazz is still unraveling. I do. Jazz definitely did have a serious weight loss. And, I was like, okay, well, if there's some assistance needed with that, that's what the person has to do, because they're so metabolically unstable, allegedly, in my opinion. But they still aren't posting like that on the internet. And I know somebody will say, it's not that serious. No, when you have a brand, you have to do social media, even if you don't want to. So what's going on? And I think there's a lot of unraveling happening. I do. I'm really looking forward to the next season, if it could ever get here.
Yourself.
Mom, stop. You're frustrating me. This is so freaking annoying.
Get out. First of all, oh my God, this whole thing. Get out. Don't talk to me like that. Your voice is annoying. Yes, I cannot stand your voice right now. You're yelling at me, and I don't know who you think I am, but see, Jeanette can't say that. Jeanette takes it all like a punching bag. Jeanette has to, because Jeanette understands that this is part of the I don't want to call it punishment, but this is what comes with what she did. So she has to let her take it out on her, right? Now, I don't know why I keep saying her. I do not know no girl who sits exactly like this. Like, even if a chick does not cross her legs, this is crazy to me. Like, I just wanted to point that out. Like, this is a bit much. What are we doing? It's okay. Now, and for me, it's even more crazy because, I'm a little older. So my traditional mother, who I keep bringing up, would have lost her. She'd have probably told me to get out just to sit like that. Right? Okay.
I'm getting so pissed, actually. You think
You're getting so... Get out. Anyway, sorry, y'all. And I'm sorry, I do have to keep cutting it off a little bit because there's music in the background. So annoying. Because this clip is very interesting.
Random individual who doesn't even know who I am internally and doesn't know my thought processes will have the answers to my questions? No! I feel the way I do because it's just the way my mind works.
All right, chill out.
And the only way I have to compromise those issues is by fixing it myself. No, for some reason, the things you're saying are really just triggering me.
Get the heck out, but with double hockey sticks. Get all the way out. You're not going to yell at me. Your voice is annoying. It is. But again, I wouldn't do this to my kid. So Jeanette has to take it. And so Jazz is saying that Jazz is right. Nobody else is going to understand what I'm going through because they've never been through it. They don't know how to break this down or work it out or make it make sense to me. They don't know how to put it together where I don't constantly keep going back to the fact that you told me I said I wanted a princess to come change my genitalia at the age of 2, but it's starting not to make sense to me anymore because 2-year-olds don't talk like that, Mom. It's really not making sense to me. That's what that is, right? And who's gonna make sense? Who can make that make sense? Jazz is absolutely right to be actually this angry. I'm reacting as a normal person, like, you're not gonna yell at me. But this situation, Jazz is right. Jazz is absolutely right.
Oh, for some reason, the things you're saying are really just triggering me. Okay. And you know what? Watch. This is how you control it.
So I'm making it worse right now. That's what you're saying.
I calmed myself.
Is everybody happy?
Do I need freaking therapy?
No, I'm not happy. I'm just worried about you. When I see you have some of your episodes, it's a little scary, to be honest with you.
But we all have episodes.
Well, I have 4 kids and a husband and myself, and you take it to a new level.
Wow. And it pretty much just ends right there, this clip, and you take it to a whole nother level. This mother placed all of the blame, all of the problems, everything on the back of Jazz. And I'm not saying that there aren't times where Jazz doesn't act entitled or whatever, but this is what they created. And she said, well, like, I got all this going on, and you take it to another level. What does that do to a kid now? And so I'd be like, come on, are you serious? You gave me a story. You gave me things to take. You've made me did things to myself, and that's what you're gonna say to me today? You're gonna place all of this guilt on me? Because that's what Jeanette did. Jeanette took her Munchausen by proxy, allegedly, in my opinion, and placed it on Jazz. I'll see you guys at the next video. Bye.